All righty. Keegan O'Toole. What's going on, dude?
What's up?
I don't even, we could give an introduction, but I don't know. But what's new in your life? What's going on, man?
I just had an interview at the accounting school this morning. It went good. I'm gonna go back to school for accounting.
Going back
Uh,
to school. Why is that?
yeah. Well, you
Not
get
like you're
cheap
already
tuition.
not busy.
You get cheap tuition with being a member at the university, and then I've always liked doing accounting. I love doing taxes. I know that sounds unbearable to most people, but I, for some reason, enjoy it. So I thought, why not? If I'm getting it really cheap and it's something that I want to do in the future, I'm gonna do it. It's not that bad
So
too. I only have about 3 I have 3 semesters I have to do, and they're only 9 credits per semester, so it's, like, literally less than what I was taking in undergrad.
are you like in person class? Or are you
Yeah,
online?
it is in person. They don't have online, so I gotta go back on campus.
So assistant coach Keegan O'Toole is going in person classes.
Hey, guess who's in class with me, though, next year for 2 classes?
Some of your wrestlers?
The Panda.
No way.
The
God,
Panda and I are both in the accounting school, and we have the same 2 classes next semester.
that's funny. So is he
We're
counting
study
too?
buddies.
Or is that his
Yeah.
under?
He's accounting undergrad and master's, and then he's also going into tax law after that. So he's going into law school too.
Jeez. And I heard he's starting a band. Did you
Yeah, I
know
guess
that?
so. Yeah.
That dude's everywhere. But so why? I mean, just long term, you want to do accounting? You're just doing it for fun?
Heck yeah. Yeah, I want to have my own accounting business where I do tax, and I have like different clients, and I want to kind of, I want
Cool firm.
to I want to be specific in like emphasis in small business, LLCs, S corps, things like that, and NIL. Obviously, I'm gonna do like anyone's, right?
Yeah.
But I really want people who, because it is hard to find CPAs already. There's a huge demand for them, and it's hard to find them for LLCs and obviously NIL and people that actually know what they're doing, that know how to like during the year tell you, hey, let's meet quarterly over the year and be like, are you keeping track of this? How are we doing with this? You need to
Yeah.
put more money here because
I
no one
feel like
wants to pay the IRS more money than they need to.
no,
So
everyone wants to save.
yeah,
I mean, and that's a good thing to get into with all the NIL and everything with the athletes. I got to feel like that's kind of a headache for coaches to deal with. I mean,
yeah,
wrestling,
no
maybe
one knows.
not.
We had a guy on a visit. We had Masoma and Denny on a visit, and I was telling him about NIL and taxes. He was like, "Yeah, I have an accountant now, but I didn't know how much taxes you had to pay." And I was like, "Yeah, they don't teach you."
Yeah, they're just throw you into the wind, hope for the best. Well, that's so. When do classes start?
I'm gonna start in the fall.
Gotcha. So a couple more months. So let's rewind it way back. You're stepping on the mat here in a couple days, but the last match you've wrestled was national finals, Hamity on that bum leg. Just kind of recap that whole second part of the season because if I remember correctly, you hurt your knee wrestling Haynes, like
No,
mid,
I heard it actually wrestling Wolak at Virginia Tech duel in
and
November.
then you wrestled Haynes afterwards.
Yeah, it was like a couple. It was a little bit of a weird situation, and I wish I would have kind of taken it a little bit more seriously because I probably could have caught it maybe a little bit early, but I felt a little tweak in my knee wrestling Wolak from Virginia Tech, and it was kind of irritating because the whole match he was just ripping at my knees. And it popped a little bit, and it hurt a little bit, but I didn't really feel too much pain afterward. Like the initial pop hurt. And so I wrestled the match, and then I was like, okay, well, that didn't feel good. It might just be sore in the morning. And it was a little sore in the morning, but it wasn't bad. And it was honestly in my like behind my knee and my upper calf is where I felt it. And I was like, oh, maybe I just like overstretched my calf or like something. And then we obviously in December we had a little chunk of time. I didn't wrestle at the Cougar Clash that year because I forgot. I was like, I told Coach Smith, I said, look, you don't need me to get extra matches right now. I want to get ready for December and wrestling Haynes. Because I'm not losing that guy again. I lost him a couple months prior in freestyle, and it was not a good match. I was also terrible. And he whooped me up. I think it was 6-0. And so he was like, "Yeah, that's worked for me." And then I had remember 2 times in practice we were training pretty hard. I was wrestling with Jarrett, JQs, and then Logan Cole, and it was like just weird situations. I felt my knee pop again twice, and it wasn't like a pop, and then I had to sit out. It was a pop, like, that hurt really bad. Take a couple seconds, a little frustration, but then go back to wrestling, and I could finish the rest of the practice
Yeah.
fine. And then, so it was a couple of those, and then I was wrestling with Aiden one time, and it happened. So 4, like, little instances I remember, at 3 at practice, 1 in the match was the first one, and then when we went out to Nashville to wrestle in the 3 duels journeyman, we wrestled, Little Rock first, and then we wrestled Binghamton, and then, we wrestled Penn State, and I actually had 3 good matches that day. I had a Pac-12 champ, I had a EIWA champ, and the Pac-12 champ, I got a tech fall, everything was fine, and then I wrestled the Binghamton kid, and he went in for a shot in the first period, and I went to go sprawl, and when I sprawled, I put my foot, I planted in the mat, and I felt another bad pop, but this one really hurt. So I like immediately stopped sprawling. I turned and kicked away, and I could wrestle back in, got a stalemate, and I stood up, and I was like, "Wow, that sucked. That really hurt."
Yeah.
But I never felt like too bad instability, and so I wrestled that match. I ended up thinking winning 21-8 or 22-8. And then going right into Penn State, it was immediately after, like, literally you walk off the mat, you walk over to the other mat, you sit on the bench,
Go
and then you
time. Yeah.
wrestle. And so I was like, I didn't think anything in my mind of like whatever, because I was just so tunnel vision. I was like, I really want to wrestle this match again. I was excited. I'd been training since December to wrestle this match. And anytime that you have an opponent that's beaten you or significantly, uh, I wouldn't say significantly better, but like, he, at that time, he was better than me. He beat
Yeah.
me pretty. It does light a bit of fire under any competitor's butt. And so it's like, there wasn't anything that was going to stop me from going out on that match. Wrestled hard. It was a battle, winning a sudden victory, a long scramble, ended up getting a takedown. And then I remember going home, and I was driving back with Connor Brown, Noah Certain, and I was like, dude, this does hurt a lot. We got a little bit of time. I don't think our next competition's for like 2.5 weeks. So just wake up, see how it feels. I remember I woke up that morning, and it was pretty swollen, and it was like, all right, this is worse than the other previous little instances where it
Yeah.
didn't really hurt that much. And I just called Tarbox, our surgeon. I was like, my knee's really messed up. I don't know what's wrong with it. And then I got an MRI on like the 28th at 5 in the morning. Went there, went back to bed. I get a phone call. Tarbox is like, "Hey, you need to drive over to COG, which is his practice, which is right by my house, Columbia Orthopedic Group, and then we need to discuss your results." And honestly, I didn't like that phone call, because it was like,
You're
if
like,
nothing
ah,
was,
shit.
I felt like he would have just been, "Well, you just got a little tear in your MCL or meniscus," but it was like, so you got an ACL tear, and you hear that, and you grow up, and you're listening, or you're hearing football players, this and that. ACL is like, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
mean, it
don't want to hear
happened.
that.
Micah Parsons tore it this year, was done, ruined the Packers' chances at playoffs.
Ah,
Patrick Mahomes did. Freaking our tight end,
yeah.
um,
Everybody.
Tucker Kraft, yeah, and it ruined their season. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, what does that mean? And it was like, all right, well, we can either, if I operate on you now, you're done for like 10 months. And I'm like, I don't think I qualify for a medical red shirt. We didn't look at all, obviously.
Yeah.
We didn't. And I just said, I don't really want to wrestle. He was like, all right, well, we can hold you out for a while. We're going to do as much rehab as we can. We're going to get you in a brace, and you're going to have to wrestle differently, but you can wrestle. And Tarbox is fantastic, because he was like, would look at me straight in the face and was like, all right, I mean, we're still going to go. We can still win a national title. Let's do it.
So there was no thought of not competing. It was we're gonna go regardless and just deal with what we got.
There was like a brief moment in my brain when I was in the room where we were looking at results, that I'm like, do I just end my career right now because I'm so beaten? I've had 4 seasons. Like,
Because you
it
never
makes
really had time off. It was season, it was freestyle, it was worlds. Like you kind of went 24/7 for those 5 years.
Yeah, if I could, I was always going, yeah. There wasn't too much of a thought I wasn't gonna compete after that meeting. It was just, I went into practice later that day, like I did. I went to go practice later that day. Obviously, it changed a lot. There was a lot of things I really couldn't do. Like, I couldn't squat down more than parallel. There was a lot of swelling back there. It hurt. I had like no confidence in like planting in your foot. And I did a lot of research afterwards, and was like, ACL injuries are considered brain injuries now, because of the neurological, I guess you would say, there's like the mind body connection. You lose it when
Yeah.
you tear your ACL. And it made sense too when I was thinking about how I was having to wrestle. Like, I couldn't there wasn't like a very good ability for me to recognize things and like capitalize like right there, like reaction time essentially. Like if someone shoots and I need to sprawl,
Yeah.
it was so bad. Like I've never felt slower in my life. I would watch my matches back and I'm like, gosh, I made it work, but man, do I look like a slow old man. Uh,
Do you feel like you got that back now, though?
Yeah, no, immediately when I started working out, like I would say I got surgery and obviously that was terrible. That was some of the worst pain I've ever felt. It was brutal recovery. I mean, it still hurt. It still is like you know, ACL graft recovery, like you're not fully healed until you hit that between 18 and 24 months.
So you had
And I'm not even and I'm
surgery
not even close to that yet.
end of March of 2025.
What?
When did you have your surgery? Like, how many months removed are
April
you?
April 3rd, 2025. So like right after spring break because I did not want to have
April
surgery.
3rd, and then were you like when were you able to get back onto a mat? Like, what's that time frame? Like, get on a mat, drill,
Three and a half
spar.
months I had my wrestling shoes on, and literally all I did was put my wrestling shoes on, and all I did was squat down into a stance and move forward, move backwards, move sideways for like 5 minutes, and I was done.
And that was the extent.
Yep. I probably was drilling decent by 5.5 months, like just
Gee.
drilling. Like I couldn't really shoot on
Seems,
my
I
leg.
mean, seems relatively fast to be back and drilling.
Yeah, I mean it's so controlled though, so it's
Yeah,
as long as I had my brace on, I did a good warm up and doing my rehab properly. Like I could do a lot. Like you can make it work if you want to make it work. You can find ways to make it work.
yeah, 100%.
Um, so yeah, and then they obviously just I would have liked to maybe have been back a little earlier competing, but I thought to myself, I kind of prayed about it. I was like, go get the gold standard tests that they do for return to sport. And I did those like middle of January, and I did really good. But a lot of the physical therapists that I met with, they were like, if you can wait a year, you should wait a year.
Yeah,
Like it's not worth it. The risk of your re-tear rate is
you
so
would
much
not want to
higher.
deal with that.
And I was really good on my tests. I lacked in like one area, and that was enough for me to be like, all right, just take a little slower.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not a big
So,
deal. Like really only trying to compete at the US Open.
yeah. So you get to the national tournament. What was that whole thought? That's your last national tournament. Obviously, is a very good bracket. You've already won it a couple times. Like, did you have a little bit of like thoughts in your mind, like just kind of what were you thinking going in, knowing you already had a bad knee, but obviously you want to win it. You want to go on a high note. Like, what was that whole experience like?
The experience was something that I wish I was a little bit more positive minded about. Uh, I went into the tournament and I knew that I had the capability of winning it. Like I was the number one seed. Um, I had two really close matches with the other guys who were, the eventual champ and the previous national champion. I beat both of them, and I was like, "All right, look, you did a lot of really good legwork during the season. Like you put yourself on as a number one seed, and now it's just you got to go out there and you got to compete hard." And I think my mind was a little bit as maybe it was at Big 12s too, but I definitely had a mindset of like, hey, let's just get through each match. Honestly,
But
it wasn't previous years where I'm like, hey, go out there and battle and enjoy it. Like you only get a few times to do this. I think my body was kind of beat down, and I kind of let it affect me to where I kind of like didn't have as much joy, or I didn't enjoy it as much, and so each match I was kind of just like back in the tunnel watching. I think I binge watched the Lord of the Rings, the extended editions. Um, and I just kind of went match by match, and obviously, went really good. I mean, the whole tournament honestly was great. I didn't for where I was at. I thought I made really good improvements, even with like, I thought I made good improvements even with being healthy in the beginning of the year till the end of the year. Like I wrestled the Virginia Tech kid who I beat like 14-4, or I know I beat him like 13-5 in our duel. And I went out in the quarterfinals and we wrestled him again, and I whooped him. I think I beat him by 11 points.
what were some of those improvements? Match
A lot of it
strategy,
was shot.
technique.
Yeah, technique. A lot of it was shot finishes. A lot of it was head hands defense. Even though head hands defense was really difficult because I couldn't really sprawl very
Yeah,
well. Um, honestly, it was like if I get to a leg, I need to finish efficiently, and I need to not let people rip out my legs and try to go for my ankles because everyone knew my knee was hurt. I'm wearing a big brace, right?
Yeah, there's no hiding that thing.
Yeah, and so it's like they're gonna like I maybe not try to purposely try to hurt me worse, but they're gonna definitely like attack him where he's weak,
Yeah.
like legally attack where he's weak. That was my mind. So I'm like, you need to protect yourself, and I thought I did a pretty good job of that. Obviously, there were some things that were like it was a little bit hindered, but I did feel like I made some adjustments, and I feel like going into the semis and the finals, I feel like it was my brain was more of like just get through these matches and just win them rather than hey, let's just focus on the moment. And I think I let the situation that I was in maybe dictate, where my mind was at a little bit too much. But like you said, every national tournament is so freaking hard, and your mind is going to be everywhere. And I don't regret anything. I don't wish I would have done things differently. Like you just keep learning. Like you just learn how, yeah, every situation you're going to learn how to be better from. And that was a
Yeah.
situation I had never been in. Kind of similar with my ankle 2 years ago.
So to say,
Uh,
kind of a
But
unique.
this one was a little bit worse, just in terms of like the implications of it, because I really felt like I was at a disadvantage, and I think maybe that kind of hindered me a little bit. Like an ankle was bad for sure, but also it was like that was just pain. Like this was literal, like biological, like
Yeah.
there was something that I genuinely couldn't do. Like I remember in my second match, it was a crazy one against Stanford. I was losing, and I had to get two takedowns at the end. I remember I went for an escape, and I like brought the guy's hand, brought it over my head, and I took a step, and I just felt I stepped on like I had to twist, and I stepped on my bad leg, and I just remember like a little like a
Like, oh.
movement in my knee, and I was like, oh wow. I felt like I almost fell over. Like it literally felt super on. I felt like I was about to fall over. I was like, wow, that did not feel comfortable at all. It was like disgusting. It was like just like a little shift. But yeah, well, after the national tournament, I was obviously sad. When you're a high level competitor, those losses and those things sit with you for a while. And like any as someone who's trying to be great at anything, right? You kind of obsess over the
Yeah.
fact that you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve for a little bit. So there was definitely some time where I was down, and I thought about it daily. But with time and understanding, look, the journey where you are right now is significantly more important than the destination. And you have a long life, a long journey. You still are going to be continuing to wrestle. Now it's like, let's attack rehab.
Yeah.
And that was that was so much harder than going through like rehab of that was way harder than this actual wrestling season
Yeah.
with
Harder than like the actual training itself.
yeah, that was significantly worse. The pain you feel, and like you have to push through the pain, and everything in your body is telling you to stop. It was awful.
Looking back at your entire college career, is there like a moment, a match, like a best memory? Like, is there one thing that, like, now that you've been removed from it for a few years, within when wearing that Missouri singlet, is there one thing that sticks out, or is it kind of just like what are your thoughts on that and kind of best memory?
A bit of it is a blur. I would say I don't even enjoy the wrestling memories as much as I enjoy the relational memories, and that's kind of an awesome thing that I've
All
realized.
those things off the mat.
Yeah, when me and you were watching King of Queens
Oh my
during the week,
god,
dude,
skateboard, dude. I mean,
I'm not even kidding either. Like the wrestling memories was fantastic. Like every time I went out and wrestled at the Hearn Center, it was great. We beat Oklahoma State in 2022. That was awesome, right? I remember my first college match. I stepped out and I wrestled Cade DeVos from South Dakota State, who I wrestled my senior year in the semifinals. It's one of my first matches, one of my last matches. Like that was great,
yeah,
but nothing beats going to Insomnia Cookies to get ice cream at 11 p.m. with Ellis, or watching King of Queens and drinking Clear Americans with you.
dude.
Uh, like none of those are so much better than all of the wrestling, and it makes so much sense. Like purely the relationships and the memories from being around the people that like you just love being around. That's what I miss the most.
I was just going through the camera roll, looking at old photos, trying to find pictures for the groomsmen, and God, some good college photos. A lot of
Some
the
great ones.
skateboarding era, that was nuts.
Yes, that was awesome.
Who would have thought that we'd be hitting up a skate park? You brought your board to Russia. That's also crazy.
Yeah, I have a
That
really
blows
awesome.
my mind that Smith let you do that.
Oh, I didn't tell my dude. It fit in the travel bag because those travel bags are so freaking big.
They are massive.
Let me see if I can find a good video real quick of
That
like
was,
literally.
dude. We were doing like Pop shove, it's in the living room. We literally were
Yeah,
like,
you almost tore your freaking nuts off doing the ollie down Jesse Hall stairs.
the fact that me, you, and Hart would go around campus and skateboard, we had to look like noobs.
Oh, it was awesome.
Dude, I was seconds away from disaster on that
That
fall.
was so funny.
That would have been, yeah, no bueno. Um, so now that you've transitioned into coaching, is that always something you wanted to do? Like transition from
Actually,
athlete within the same school into that coaching role? Is
actually,
that
it wasn't really on my mind too much. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, honestly. Like in college, school wise, I know I genuinely kind of like numbers. I kind of liked finance. I kind of like things like that. I didn't really quite have a pinpoint of what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to like wrestle too after for a little bit. I didn't want to wrestle for a super long time because I just know that there are other athletic competitions that I actually really do enjoy. That I want to still pursue after wrestling.
because it always
Um,
seemed like you never really had an interest in coaching. So that's why, like, when you got into it, I was like, oh, I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, the opportunity just kind of presented itself, and it was something like I feel like I've always coached too growing up, like little kids at Ninjas at Askren. I even did like some high school privates, things like that. But it just the opportunity kind of arose, and I just was like, you know what? This is an opportunity right now. You're in the program. You still want to wrestle. You know the guys on the team, and you do love wrestling. And I know I have a passion for Mizzou wrestling succeeding. And I'm like, you know what? You're gonna do this right now, and you're gonna do it like you're gonna literally give everything you got to it. And it could be one of those things where you're like 10 years down the road, and you're like, I still love this. But it was more of like well, all right, this is kind of coming up. Like I didn't really think about it my whole life that this is what I wanted to do, but it's an opportunity. And Coach Smith's awesome. I love working with Maple, Coach Smith, Dom Keenan. I love
Good
those
squad.
guys. Yeah, it's an amazing squad, and so I'm like, I know the dynamic of Mizzou wrestling. I know how it works. I know the pitfalls of it because I was an athlete and wish the things that I wish the coaches maybe did differently. And it's like a new light that I can kind of bring towards. And I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this right now, and I'm going to go and do it as best I can. And if I end up loving it, I end up loving it. I want to do it for as long as Coach Smith's doing it, then that's the case. But I
What?
do like I always did grow up knowing like I do have a lot of other interests. Like I don't want to be in the wrestling world, I think forever. Like some people just were like wrestling world forever. That's it.
Yeah, it's like their whole identity.
Yeah, and I've never I've never been like that. I always liked so many other things,
Yeah.
so many other sports. Like
What when you say there were like the pitfalls, what do you think you brought, or was it like training thing? Was it mentality? Is there something that you thought you brought or changed? So it's
um
interesting. Obviously, I was in the room at the same time you were for
mhm.
most of it. What is that adjustment or switch?
I thought a big one was the communication planning and execution of things. I just remember sometimes being a little bit like in the dark and like asking and like wondering, and I'm like, I don't like how I'm wondering here. I'm trying to, it's like little things, but like any program, nothing's ever perfect.
Yeah,
And the great thing about Maple, Dom, Smith, and Keenan are like they have no ego in the game. Like if I'm like, hey guys, I think we shouldn't do this. I don't think we did this really good, and it's like okay, like definitely like
yeah,
let's figure out how we're gonna do it better. And so that's what obviously I love working about with those guys, and also realizing that coaching literally is not just coaching wrestling. It's not.
there's so much.
You're playing the role of a teacher, you're playing the role of a fundraiser, you're playing the role of a manager, you're playing the role of a human resources person because you're handling kids, you're handling outside their lives, you're trying to figure out um, this person's doing the right thing, this person didn't show up to class, right? There's things like that. You're dealing with bureaucracy within the university. That's a
A lot
frustrating.
more than teaching single legs.
Yeah, you're trying to advertise, you're trying to yeah, you're playing so many different roles as a coach. It's like not just coach. It's
Do you enjoy those other things, or is it just like comes with the job? You got to deal with it.
I do enjoy some of those things, and there are things I really don't like doing. Like I'm gonna be straight up, the fundraising thing, not my favorite because who wants to go ask for money?
Yeah, nobody. Which now in the day of age,
You have to, but you
yeah, you
literally
have,
have to,
yeah,
especially nowadays in age, yeah, you have to. You have to make sure it's a priority. You have to make sure you're making phone calls, you're texting people. hey, you're going to be at this duel. We want you here. Here's if we would love for you to contribute. Anything you can give helps.
It's
Texted alumni, texted you, Peyton and Ellis. Hey,
yeah.
guys, $10
Give
a
us
month.
money. Yeah.
$10 a month for the year. If we can get all the alumni to do that, like it will make a difference. Like that's like maybe one walk on or like one
Yeah.
kid that we can afford his rent or something like that.
I mean, it's crazy to even to think back when we got that new locker room and Smith was talking about how he was calling, and every locker is sponsored by somebody, and it's like that's just so many freaking. And that's the dedication it takes. Um, what was it weird transitioning from being an athlete on that team to now all of a sudden you're a coach of athletes that you wrestled with? I mean, you came in with people that are still on that roster. Was that weird, or was it just kind of a? Because I feel like it's rare that a coach will just naturally flow into that same unit. Usually, you go to a different school or this or that. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult to find the line with certain guys like a Josh Edmond, a Cam Steed, um, I would say even a Nate Polium. Those guys like Cam was guy in my wedding, like one of my
Yeah,
best buds. Josh, literally, we were in high school together, messing around at Super 32 our senior year. He was asking me if I should come to Mizzou. And so that I think I do what I can to be a leader and coach. But the good thing is that they've developed really good relationships with like Dom and Maple and Coach Smith. And so when it comes to more of that, like you would say the older kind of hierarchy, I definitely probably would say they more lean into that.
yeah,
And I'm more of, I would say,
in the middle.
in the middle. Yeah. I'm still friend for sure. Like I want to be friends with them. Like those are my good friends. But like it's definitely easier with like the freshmen, like with a Danny
Yeah,
Heiser, like a
you just
Aiden. It's like
yeah,
it's significantly easier. Like I haven't had so much opportunity with them to create like friendship relationship. Definitely still like I mean Aiden, I mean I've known him since high school and we
yeah.
wrestled on a team together. He's like one of my partners. Like every single day we wrestled. Um,
But it's different
and
when you're not you live
it's
on the
different
same
when I was on
block.
the team with him for 5 years
Yeah,
versus one. Especially two last year. I was married, so it was like
you're the old
I
man.
hung around. Here, one second. Let me close this door. I was around them a lot, but it definitely wasn't like that was who I was spending the bulk of my time with because, obviously I was married.
It is crazy that transition, and everyone experiences it, and it's just a
Yeah.
matter of time. Where, and I remember Dom telling me this at one point as I was going into my later years. It's like there's just you're 24, you're 23, and you get these 18. It's a completely. I mean, obviously you're on the same team, you're buddies, but like there's levels of maturity and, like you said, the hierarchy of like the different ages and all of that stuff. So, but
Yeah.
as you've now switched into coaching, what is the biggest thing you've learned with working with athletes? Like, because you said you've coached and growing up and at AWA and stuff like that, but now that like you're actually like this is your job, what is something you've learned or maybe something you discovered as you're about a year into this now?
I think it's just so much more difficult than managing yourself. I do think that. I mean, obviously
Harder
you're
than
at
competing?
yeah, like you're obviously coaching guys at AWA and like in your mind you want to figure out a way to be the best when you're a competitor. And then now you're trying to put that into someone else and sometimes like you just don't understand where their brain's at, you don't understand where their priorities are. Like personality is a huge thing. Everyone's different. Like Aiden, it's like Aiden's gonna do everything possible to be good. Like he's gonna work out twice a day every day if you let
Oh,
him. And then there's some guys where it's like, dude, you didn't even like you defaulted out of a tournament because you made up a fake injury.
yeah,
And just kind of how do you manage both those because it requires different, I guess you'd say, treatment, you
yeah,
know. And I'm just learning how to be patient. One, how to understand that everyone's different and that everyone's needs are different, and understand that training X person and Y person the same is incorrect.
yeah,
Like they have different needs mentally and physically. And so that's where I'm trying to find that line and know each athlete. And that's why it is really important. Like it's so hard on a team of 30 for every coach to know every single kid really well, and that's why, like, you generally have, your kind of your individual coach, um, and so I can kinda give a little bit more time to this guy versus, like, if I'm trying to figure out 30 guys, right?
Yeah, that's just not going to happen.
Really, really hard, but we have 4 coaches, right? If you split that up, 6, 12, 18, 20, that's about 7 per coach, like, a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot easier to manage in terms of, like, knowing them on a deeper level than 30.
Yeah. Do you work with Aiden like as an individual coach?
Yeah, I do. I also am a fan of, like, making sure, like, hey, if Aiden's my guy, I'm like, hey, you definitely should, like, once a week or once every other week go work with, like, Dom or Maple because, like,
Yeah.
there are things that they can offer that I can't. But no, I do work with Aiden a lot. I work with Mac a lot. Um, I work with Easton. Yeah,
What I feel like Aiden's development over the last years has been absurd. I mean, his redshirt freshman year, I would say was good, but I mean, he took some losses that you're like, well, those are kind of weird losses. Now he's, I mean, kind of the front runner for this title. He's cemented himself as one of the best guys, and he's like just obliterating people. He's not just winning these matches; he's making it look like effortless. What do
yeah.
you think? I mean, it's insane that match that he had a couple weeks ago. It was like the number. It was a top 15 guy, and it was like, how is he doing this? What do you think was the biggest change from last year? What is it? Just being in a college room for longer? Is it getting to wrestle with you? Like, what is it that made him jump those levels? Because you know he's going to be great, but is there something that you can pinpoint to be like, this is what's going on?
Well, it's definitely not wrestling me because I got surgery and I couldn't wrestle for
But
forever.
now you guys wrestle.
Yeah, we wrestle all the time. I try to make sure I at least go with him once a week. Um, I think it was a big one was confidence. Last year, he was always like, "Man, these guys are bigger, they're stronger," and making a little bit of excuses for himself. So I think it's a little bit more. He's a little more confident in himself that he knows like it doesn't matter, right? This isn't high school anymore. These guys could be 26 years old, and it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. Confidence is a big one that I've just seen, and one consistency. Like he's so consistent. He wants to be great. You give him time, he's going to find a way to be great,
yeah,
right? He's in the weight room. He's in the wrestling room. He's always asking for feedback. He's competing. He wrestled U20s and seniors at the same time. Like if anyone who's that dedicated and wants to be that good, you're not going to stop them. They need some time, maybe, and they need some time to adjust to college. But right, he was just consistent, and consistency builds confidence. Coach Smith always talks about, and then you believe in what you're doing. It's the first pill of Tiger style, and you just building from there. And obviously now, he hasn't wrestled perfect matches all year. There were a couple matches so far this year that we got to improve on, but overall, it's like, hey man, he's a little similar to me. I can see myself in him when I was younger. I think obviously we have differences, but I just always remember how I was, and I mean, it's like you never have to worry about him wanting to be good and work
yeah.
hard.
It's
If
like the
anything,
dream athlete.
you have to worry about him getting ahead of himself and like kind of digging himself into a hole for no reason.
Yeah,
Not him not doing enough or not wanting to be good. You
almost
don't have to
like
make
doing too much. You're like, hey, that's reel back a little bit.
yeah.
What it's did you see the Bader show with him?
No, I didn't, but my
Where
dad called me and he goes, Aiden has
the story,
ADHD,
he's
BCDEX.
all over the place.
I know,
The
it's so funny.
story of him about people telling him that you went to Dagestan for a year, and he was like, "I guess
Yeah,
it's
I've never heard that. I don't even think that's
so
true.
funny." And I was like, "What?" But what like right now, you guys are closing in a postseason.
Yep.
You got nationals in what about a month? What
Yep. March. Yeah.
what does training look like right now for you guys as you guys get into that postseason? Like I'm assuming practice today at 3:30.
Yep.
What kind of
Obviously.
yeah? Um, what's the schedule look like? What are you guys working on? Is there specific things you guys are doing? Is because I know like when I was there towards this part of the year, it's really just you're heavily focused on those 10 guys, a lot more individual stuff. But kind of what does a snapshot of a week look like for you guys right now at this point of season?
Yeah, kind of just like you said, we have a few regular practices a week, and then we'll have multiple individual days, a little bit more days off too. Um, you want to kind of really hone in on what these guys are good at. So, like if I'm working with example Aiden, right? like, Aiden, we're not probably going to have you shooting a double from space. Like, we're
Yeah.
not going to try to develop that. We're not going to
You're
do a
adding
two
in new
point.
skills right now.
We're not going to have you adding in new skills that you don't use, right? We're going to focus on how do I make his underhook single, his arm drag, and his head inside single. Those are like his three best things,
Yeah.
right? On top of his go behind, right? But from an offensive perspective, it's head inside single, underhook single, arm drag. Like, how are we going to optimize those when we get to them? How do we put ourselves in those positions more? And how do we just build more confidence and more belief?
Yeah.
Uh, you're really not going hard much. Like, maybe you want to do a little bit of quick spurt once a week. You don't really need to push your body too much. You're already in shape. You're not going to lose it, right? You know that about the body. Like, you're not going to lose something that quick. You have to hit it to stimulate it, and then you're going
That's
to keep it, right?
there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to gain a ton of shape. You're not going to gain a ton of new skill. You're not going to gain any more power, speed, or strength at this time. It's all about let's maintain, let's prep our nervous system, and let's have confidence.
Are you running practices? Kind of what was that
Yeah.
dynamic?
Yeah. Right now during season, like this later in the year, it's pretty structured when it's the actual practice. So Coach Smith kind of usually takes over and has a practice plan. Individuals, when I'm doing individuals, obviously I run them
Yeah.
like I write them up.
What's on deck today? Do you know?
No, Coach Smith. It's Coach Smith day to day.
Really?
Sometimes he lately he hasn't been telling us, and so we just kind of walk in and we're like, "Yep, whatever Coach Smith thinks," and he'll bounce some ideas off right before practice starts. Like, "Hey, I want to get in here. What do you think?"
Yeah.
But
What
it's good, and obviously those like you said, focusing a little bit. So the one time of the year where you're definitely giving those 10 guys more attention, um, and the guys that aren't in the lineup, they know that. It's not like, oh, I favor them over here. It's like, look, these guys are, they're going to nationals and Big 12s.
it's like
Your job
guys
as
ready?
a teammate now is to help them,
Is
right?
that
Only for a short. It's 1 month, right? It's 1 month. Your sole goal is to be there and help them. Let them take a couple extra reps. A lot of our individual days, those guys are coming in and they're, hey, what do you need from me? What do you need? And it's great. We have a really good selfless team too. I love the team that we have. It's no one's upset. No one's super selfish. Um, we have a really good group of guys.
yeah? I
And so
mean, at the end of the day, you want to get that trophy back. The
absolutely.
whole
Yeah,
team effort. Whole team effort.
it is.
So you got your train. Like you're obviously now back to training. You're a full time athlete. You're trying to make senior world team stuff like that. What does your training schedule look like within your coaching week? Are you practicing with the team? Are you doing stuff outside of the practices? Are you bringing guys in to get workouts? Like, how are you structuring that? And what does that look like?
Yeah, I've taken a lot of control of my own training now, which is awesome because I thought I was always pretty good at putting together my own kind of training plan and sticking to it and like adjusting on the fly depending on how I feel. And the unfortunate thing about college is like it doesn't matter how you feel, you're going.
Yeah.
Like you're hurting. And so now it's like I'm 24. I've got a lot of miles on my body. I've got knee surgery. I had a torn shoulder labrum too. Um, and so I try to keep wrestling practices to 3 days a week. Like I try not to wrestle more than 3 days a week. Maybe I'll do a 20-minute recovery, like just the aerobic heart rate drill, like literally just a light, pick one technique, like literally just focusing on a low double. Do like 20 minutes of it, done. Then
Yeah.
that's mainly just to get
Your
your
new
body.
skill.
Yeah, get your blood flowing. I try to do 3 workouts outside of the wrestling room a week, and I've changed that up a lot. Usually, it was just straight up lifting, and now I'm really trying to focus on like specific things. Like when I was getting back, I did a whole reintroduction. I did an 8 week aerobic power building. That's all I did.
Still with Brad?
No, I do work with Brad a little bit, but one of my guys who is he threw hammer at Mizzou. He has his strength and conditioning, and he also has a business in town, and he's at PT school.
Oh,
I met him at church a couple years ago, and I kind of like
who's that?
his name is Derek Parker. And he has shockwave therapy, which is like pretty revolutionary, and it kind of helped my shoulder so much because I
Yeah.
couldn't lift my shoulder above my head or lift my arm above my head without like just terrible pain. And now I'm like back to wrestling live. Um, And I was like, "Hey, dude, like you do this, and it's kind of your like dream to like work with athletes, like, we're friends. Do you wanna, like, help me write program and work out with me? And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so he's been awesome. And that is really, like, specific to me, which is
Yeah.
great. And then, yeah, I'll do wrestling practices with the team. I'd say it's like if I wrestle 3 days a week, it'll be like 1 day on my own, 2 days with practice on the team, or 2 days on my own, 1 day of practice.
Yeah.
Like, now, like, leading up to, like, a competition, it's gonna be a little bit more outside the practice room, and it's gonna be outside of practice times, and be a little more on my own.
Yeah.
Um, but with individuals, it's great. Like, my individual day yesterday, it was I ran 3 individuals, and my last one was my practice too, and I wrestled with Aiden.
So it's like two birds, one stone.
Yeah, yeah, getting 2 birds with 1 stone. And Coach Smith's kind of observing a little bit, and I give him like, "Hey, we're gonna go through this. Can you time us when we do these situations?" Um, so it's good. I do like it a lot more. It's a lot. I would say it's. I've done a lot of research myself too. Like, and obviously this is what you did in college, but I've been reading some books about like MMA conditioning, and the biggest one is the Ultimate MMA Conditioning Guide by Joel Jameson. That's pretty epic. That's opened my eyes a lot to understanding like people train way harder than they need to train.
There's a lot of wasted time just because you think you're exerting this amount of effort, and it's like, oh, I'm going harder, I'm getting better, but it's like at a
It's
point you got
actually the opposite, you know? And so realizing like, hey, majority of your work should be at lower intensity.
you build that
Like
base.
you don't need to train anaerobically or max effort that much. Like your body just can't, the body's energy systems can't keep a long duration of that. And that's where you fatigue and get injured.
And then that's where you just don't recover at a high level. And plus, on top of that, MMA fighters, wrestlers, you're not fueling your body because you're probably cutting weight and whatnot. So yeah,
Yeah, no, so it's kind of opened my eyes a lot, and like that obviously lower intensity is easier on your body, and still it's I've just been trying to train hard when I need to train hard for that short amount of time. And then the majority of my training is like a little bit more, I would say, like moderate intensity. Like I do wear a lot I'm trying to always wear a heart rate monitor, zone two. Um and I'm doing been specific training blocks too. Like I did that whole 8 week aerobic thing. But yeah, I don't really wrestle live that much. Like you don't need to. Like you just
yeah,
don't. Like if you're struggling with like a mental toughness thing, like there's an element of mental toughness within wrestling. And so like if you don't have that, you need to build that. And sometimes that is through just like getting
yeah.
up bad. But I mean,
Once you
I don't.
have that, so you don't really need to keep
Once
working.
you have that, yeah, you don't really need to keep going. And even I was talking to Ben, he's like, you really only need to push hard like once a week once
Yeah,
you have a good base built. And I think I did a good job. Obviously, there were a couple workouts at the beginning where I was like, man, I forgot what that feels like, where I'm just getting rotated in on by guys that are freshmen, letting the freshmen just get their get backs on me. Cause otherwise, if it was just me
nah.
and them, held them on their back. I'm like, hey, you get your get back today. And I'm giving up like 8 takedowns after just getting rotated in on. I'm just dead. Um, but yeah, just trying to train a lot smarter, like train smart and train hard when I need to train hard, but also majority of my training, like I said, a majority of my wrestling practices those 3 days a week is like 150, 140 to 165 heart rate,
Yeah.
right? And then maybe the 1 day a week, right? It's a little harder. Maybe it's 10 minutes alive. That's
What
it.
are you doing cardio off the mat, or are you getting most of your cardio and your aerobic base from the wrestling?
Uh, as I get closer to competition, a lot of it is more wrestling based. But like when I was doing that aerobic stuff, a lot of it was cardio outside. Like I
Yeah.
was doing cardiac output, like, high intensity continuous, high resistance intervals. And so right now I'm doing like a power speeds, like I'm trying to get explosive, right? Building some general strength, just because I did lose a lot of it in my lower body when I got surgery. And it's great. So like kind of right now I work out 3 days a week outside, and it's different too. Like I did 1 day a week was like, lifting, and it's like heavier weight, but you're just thinking about moving it fast. The workout I actually did on Monday was pretty tough. It was like the shock method, to where it was 3 by 5 of a Zercher squat, and every rep eccentric, controlled, but when you're concentric, it's
Pow.
fast as you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right into like
Violent.
depth drops, jumps, and then dude, that just fried my nervous system. So it's interesting. I'm just like I'm trying to not take. I feel like before what I was doing was slowly building each little block, like aerobic base, explosiveness, power endurance. And now it's like, hey, keeping everything right where it's at. Let's just focus on aerobic and let's build that up high. All
Yeah.
right, move over. What's the next one? Strength. Let's build that up high. And it's honestly, I feel like now the way I kind of wish that I was training when I was younger, a little smarter. But then again, it's like the saying: when you're 30, you're gonna look back when you're 20, and you're like, "Man, I was stupid." And then when you're 40, you look back at it when you're 30,
Yeah.
you're like, "Dumb." So just keep learning.
I miss being in like a athlete centric weight room with like just all that stuff, the depth drops. Oh, I miss it. But what when you're a couple days away from competition, you compete on the 28th against I don't even know how to say his last name. What
So
are
Kazan,
you really? I have it written down. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. What are you kind of tapering? Did you kind of build? I mean, this is your first match back. You haven't competed since NCAA's your senior year. Was this kind of like you're peaking for this? How far out did you know that you were taking this match? Why this match? This is a pretty big debut from having an intermediate two-time silver gold medalist. Was there any hesitation in taking it, or was it like, hey, we're jumping right into the fire. Let's get this thing.
Yeah, I don't exactly remember when. I knew Ben was kind of like talking to me about it because he's kind of on that area, but I knew they signed me, and I told them I probably can't compete until February, and so I found out relatively early. I think I found out at like the Soldier Salute, so those early January that I was going to be wrestling. And at first, it was me and Evan were wrestling, right?
Yeah,
And me and Evan obviously were like, yeah, yeah, like we're okay with wrestling each other. We don't need to. Uh, like it's not a big deal. It was the only option at the time, and we're like, well, we both want to wrestle and make money. Like me and Evan, we're cordial. We're gonna wrestle, right? Probably gonna wrestle at the U.S. Open. Um, and then Ben called us a couple weeks later. He was like, "Hey, we signed two more guys at a rate. Like, we're gonna switch you guys." And me and Evan were like, "All right, perfect, that works. We don't care." And so mine was originally Chimizo. His was Kadik. But Chimizo had some visa troubles, and so then they just switched it. Like Ben's like, "Do you want to wrestle Kazanov?" And I was like, yeah, sure. It was never like, oh, I need to get a warm up match. I want to wrestle someone easy. It was like, no, I just want to wrestle someone.
yeah,
Whether I go out there and I wrestle a world silver medalist or I go out there and I wrestle an MMA guy, like,
gonna wrestle.
yeah, like, I could very well go out there and wrestle terrible and lose. Obviously, I don't want to do that.
Hmm.
Preparing to win and believing I'm going to win. I just, in prep for the US Open, right, which is obviously the main focus, I would say, like, it's just great. It's a great, pop up thing. Why would I not do it? I believe in my abilities. I've been training plenty hard. Like I've been training right. I'm back in shape. I feel strong. The guys around me that I'm wrestling with, Cam, Aiden, they say, "Man, you're feeling a lot better," and so it's given me confidence.
Yeah,
Anytime I wrestle with the Panda, I gain confidence. Man, that dude's so good.
it's very good. What's the weight at?
175.
Is that fairly? I mean, I know you're pretty big there for a second. Is that a pretty
Yeah, dude, I was bad when I got surgery. I was like, I was 200. No,
easy
it's fine.
descent down to
I just,
75?
I just did a good job of being mature about it and like what's the worst thing you can cut out of your diet 3 weeks,
Yeah.
4 weeks it out, like just stop eating ice cream, right?
What
So
do you what are you weighing right now? Like what are you
right
walking?
now, I've been weighing around like since I've been eating a lot healthier around 185, and this week I'll probably bring it down a little lower, but it's a 12-hour weigh-in, so like I'll probably walk in like 6 pounds over the day before and just sweat it
What
all out with that.
Yeah. What are you nervous to get back on the mat? Pressure? Or are you just kind of like, I'm just excited to be back out there?
No, I know I'll get those pre-match nerves just because you care and you want to do good. But man, this is like I look at college wrestling and I look at it sometimes as like a chore, like I got to do this, and this is like what my life's about. And now it's like, look, I have a job. I'm going to school for accounting. This is something that is a blessing bestowed upon me that I just need to enjoy and not think about that it's a life or death I have to win, because sometimes as a competitor you do that. Like you're just like, if I don't win, bad things are happening. Like, no, that's not it. Like you train, you do your best, you wrestle hard, you want to finish to where you want to finish. If that doesn't happen, all you're gonna do is walk off, be a little bit upset, and you're gonna go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Right.
What's preparing for this match? Are you watching film? Are you just focusing
Yeah,
on
I
yourself?
don't really. I watch a little bit of film, but that's more of like Maple or Dom's job. Giving me feel like having
Yeah.
guys come in like Connor Flynn, who lives here in town, giving me a feel. Jarrett, Aiden. just a little bit here and there just to get a feel for it. It's not like you're trying to prepare for a UFC fight to where you bring in
Yeah.
a guy for like 8 weeks straight who's similar to him.
Are
You just got
you who's going down there with you?
me and Ella are flying down on Thursday, and then Maple's flying down on Friday, and then actually Big Man Bust Tarbox is coming down on Saturday to corner
Oh,
me.
hell yeah, that'd be sweet. Nice, nice. Um, so RAF 28th. What's after that? You got the Open. Is there any other
Big
stuff
12s, NCAAs.
for you
If there's another
competing?
RAF match, if there's another RAF match they want me to wrestle in, I would do that before the U.S. Open, just because if I feel like if I can get another match, that'd be good. Um, and then yeah, the U.S. Open in April, and after that, it's just like I guess kind of obviously work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going.
What 79 kilos for the Open? Is that the weight?
This year,
Who,
definitely, I'll go 79 kilos. It's good for me. It's a good weight class right now. I don't really
who
feel
is
like
the top guys at that weight right now? Like Wick and
Levi Hayden's medaled, so he's at Final X. So
oh,
Wick and Hamity, and I'm sure there'll be some other really tough guys there. But those are the top three last year.
so the process would be win that, and you have to win that to get the final X, or is there another step in
Yeah,
between that?
no, just it's
Just
literally just the U.S. Open. If you win the U.S. Open, Final X. If you don't win, you're not in.
yeah, jeez. So you plan on going down to 74 though for the future after 79 or 79
Yeah, I mean,
the Olympic
I
cycle?
have to. I have to, right? If I want to wrestle the Olympics, I got to pick a weight class, and
Was
I love the idea. I love the idea of an 86 kilo, but I've wrestled 74 kilos before, and I've done really well there.
yeah. So just pretty
And
much for
so,
like 74 it is. There wasn't really a thought of 86.
no, I'd probably have to do some big
You
changes to
have
my
to get
body. That
big.
there would be some big changes to my body that I'd have to make, and for how long I want to wrestle for, it doesn't make sense. Like maybe if I wanted to do like wrestle till 2032, it would be a consideration. But as of now, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Is there a dream matchup? Now that RAF's doing all these matchups, is there someone that you would just like to wrestle?
No.
So you just
And I just like wrestling. I just like wrestling good wrestlers. Like the Chimizo one was cool because I watched him wrestle growing up. Obviously, that didn't happen, but Salkazanov's just as good, if not better. Right, the last time they wrestled, he beat him, and he's
you
a
know,
world medalist. This is a pretty awesome opportunity.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy. I like the pursuit of like improvement. I like the pursuit of
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's
figuring
a
things
journey.
out. Yeah, like the pursuit of figuring things out along the way, and wrestling matches is part of that journey along the way. You really find out where you're weak at and where you're strong at.
Yeah. We you kind of mentioned this, like the nerves and pressure, you don't really feel it and whatnot. When Kale was getting interviewed the other day and he talked about like finding that outlet, like it seems like the school now and stuff, but is there that one thing, maybe something in season during college or that just like gets wrestling out of your mind? It's just something you can go and do and just kind of relax, not have to think about competing, or you're just so loose in competing where it's like, it's whatever. You don't feel
I mean, I like to do a lot of things. I pick up random ass hobbies.
the, well, I
Golf,
know, but people, the viewers may not know.
golf is a big one. I
A
love
lot of
golf.
golf.
Shot at 83 yesterday. So yeah, golf is a big one. Obviously, hanging out with my wife, hanging out with friends.
What's the weather
Uh,
right now? Your golf, that's nice weather down there.
no, yesterday was really nice. Today is not nice. Today's like 30 and something.
It's supposed to snow today.
Yeah, so golf is a big one. We both have an indoor facility here too, which is nice. We'll go do that. Um, there was skateboarding a little bit, ping pong a little bit. We had a ping pong
Dude,
table in our house.
that was nuts. We would play a lot, and you would
Yeah,
kick
we
me
did.
every freaking
I
time.
did. I always whooped your butt.
That's
Um, and then what else? Yeah, I mean, I've been reading a lot too lately, like getting into a lot of books like about strength and conditioning, about the human body, and then
what are you
obviously,
reading?
like I just had that Ultimate MMA Strength and Conditioning book, which I wish I would have read when I was so much younger. It's a quite incredible book. If you haven't read it, you should read it.
I'll have to check it out.
It just literally describes the energy systems and explains for combat sports how people just train too hard. People just think that doing circuit training and wrestling hard and sparring and live wrestling is like what you need to do to get in shape, but literally like your anaerobic systems just cannot produce that kind of power for a duration that
Yeah,
much, and you're just gonna fatigue and hurt yourself.
that's I was just having this conversation with someone the other day. Like, I mean, in high school is such a different area, but like you have all those high school coaches that's just like go hard, harder, harder, harder. And it's like hopefully that new wave of thinking trickles down because you see it and a little bit more educated. But the whole mantra just how hard can you go for as long as you can go? It's like kind of not the good way to do things.
No,
Um,
it really isn't. Like, you
you,
will get some benefit, but you're not
but then it's
optimizing
diminishing
at a
returns.
super high level.
Do you think that's kind of been a new thing in your game? Is like not just because now you're kind of training on your own. I mean, you have people influencing on what you do and writing programs and stuff. But do you think going from college where everyone was just like you get told what to do, you have to do it. Now you're actually thinking about like learning what are you actually doing,
100%.
and it's got to be just a massive benefit because now you actually know what you're doing. Um,
Yeah.
is it something you kind of tell like I guess college kids they don't care that much, but a positive influence like was that something you'd recommend?
Yeah, I more of just try to, like, input, like, a little bit of things where it's like, "Hey, like, I wanna work out again tomorrow." Like, "Dude, you went, like, 5 days wrestling in a row. Like, no, take it off, and if you're gonna do something, do 20 minutes at a smooth pace for literal blood flow recovery and aerobic benefit." Like, literally, your aerobic system is responsible for clearing out soreness, metabolic, like, waste in your system, like, little things like that, or understanding, like, hey, like, you don't need to wrestle hard again today. Like, you don't. Like,
Yeah.
you did on, like, Monday and Wednesday, it's Friday. You don't need to. The other day, I was telling one of our guys, he was like, "Well, tomorrow's an off day. Can I come in and drill?" I was like, "No, take the day off."
It's off day for a reason.
He was like freaking out, and I'm like, "Dude, no. You need to take the day off. Like, you need to." He's like, I'm like, "Be content with where you are right now. You have to." And
Uh,
he's like, "Well, I've never heard a coach say that." And I was like, "Well, that's because, like, most coaches are dumb."
the wise
So,
word.
like,
What?
there's a reason it's an off day. There's a reason Coach Smith built it in.
Yeah, take advantage of it. Recover. Go get up on your studies. Hang out. Couple final questions here. Favorite venue that you've ever competed in? You've
Cole
been at
Center.
it. Okay.
Cole
We got,
Center Saturday night high school state finals.
it's so funny. We ask that question to just about everybody, and you've wrestled at about every venue. I mean, World Finals twice. So Cole Center, we're closing in less than a week away. What? Give us a good high school memory. You won four of them.
Noah Mulvaney pinning Luke Meckler my senior year. Jack was cutting weight. I was on the mat and I was whooping some kid's butt. And I'm like looking over mid pin. I got him on his back and I see Mulvaney, and we worked so hard to beat that guy all year.
Yeah.
uh, Lad dropped to pin, and then pin the guy, shake the coach's hand, run over, hug Mulvaney, give him a high five. Jack runs out. It was in the paper.
It's
That's best high school
crazy.
game.
We just interviewed Otto, and God, the high school team you had, there's 6 guys that went D1. I mean, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, we had some hammers. We
I
just
mean,
had some too many holes, unfortunately.
you had your 6 guys, and then the rest of the team was kind of buns. You'll have
Yeah.
that. That's high school wrestling. So the Kohl Center, yeah, it's crazy. Everyone says that it's a great place. 17,000 sold out. It's a special place. Um, I guess 2 more questions. The goals going forward, what's kind of looking down the road, you're getting back on the mat next weekend, kind of what are the goals for the foreseeable future? I'm assuming Olympics is in that, senior world, stuff like that. Kind of what is on your list of, hey, I want to get this stuff going?
One, become a CPA. Two,
Non-wrestling right away.
yeah, one, become a CPA, do good in school. Two, continue to improve my game from a strength and conditioning standpoint, and from a physical technical standpoint, and a mental toughness standpoint, to put myself into contention to become a Olympic gold medalist. But really just keep improving every single day, like track my progress and just pursue improvement and growth. And then lastly, just uh, try to daily find a way to help the guys on the team, whether it's a small pointer here, mentally, physically, or outside of that, and continue to try to improve the Mizzou wrestling program daily in any way that I can, whether it's fundraising, all that type of stuff,
It's
any
doing.
category.
Oh yeah. And then final question. Let's fast forward 10 years. where do you picture yourself in 10 years? Are you an accountant? Are you running a big accounting firm? Are you still
I
like
am.
so
Yeah.
you're
Ideally, be a father. I definitely should be a father before 10 years. Um, and have an accounting firm and be trying to make Columbia, Missouri a really good community and give back to Mizzou wrestling because it's given so much. Still be involved in the program in some way.
oh yeah.
Um, and then obviously just keep maintain. I think the biggest thing I think long term is like don't chase don't chase things. Wait, sorry.
Don't chase outcomes.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah, that's obviously a really good one. But chase the depth of relationships. Don't chase things. And so, like in 10 years, I still want to be really close with you. 10 years, I still want to be really close with Peyton. 10 years, I still want to be really close with Adam Polchinski.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just make the effort and make the time to keep those relationships going because regardless, gold medal, two-time NCAA champ, two-time age group world champ, whatever, four-time high school state champ, that stuff is cool for about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
It really is. Like you get that feeling, you get that rush, it's great, but it goes away. And then if no one likes you and if you don't maintain those relationships, what the hell is life all about?
Yeah.
Like I think I've just realized that so much. Like I want to be friends and I want to be able to call you and be like, "Hey bro, this week I'm coming back to town. We're playing golf." Or, "Hey, we're going to do this. Our wives and we're all going to go get dinner. We're going to go out and have a few drinks together." Like, dude, that's what it's about, man. I don't want to lose those relationships and I want to keep up, and it's been a task for me to just text people daily, call them, call my friends from back home, call the people that I don't see a lot.
I mean, it's crazy. I was in your wedding, you'll be in mine. It's those relationships after
Yeah.
college, and it's just insane, and it's crazy. I mean, now so many. It's like I think of the friend group from college, and everyone's all over the country, but it's just like you still connect with them. You go to. I mean, I've got Hart's wedding coming up. There's just so much.
Hmm.
That's all I got. Anything else? Anything you want to shout before we sign off? I appreciate the time. It's always good catching up. It's kind of funny,
Yep.
like when you know the answers to a lot of things, but you got to ask them. But
Yep.
you
For the
got anything
viewers,
else for the Wisconsin wrestling community before we sign off?
go Tigers, MIZ
Yeah,
baby.
you
Um,
too.
and also Josh's podcast was hilarious last week or whatever he did it.
Dude, that was so funny. He
He just roasted our cute. It was great.
he loves hot takes. There was no holding
Oh,
back.
some of his hot takes were so dumb. I even texted him. I was like, "You're an idiot," but that's him. If that's Josh Otto right there.
He's a
So
character. He was on call for a couple of our events, and when he walked in with his suit, I was like, "It's going to be awesome." And that
yes, he does. Yeah,
you
he's
put a
like,
microphone in front of him, it's going to be gold. You just
yep,
hope he doesn't say anything too outrageous. But
yes, absolutely. But all right, peace out,
thank
WI
you
Wrestle.
for thank you for joining. We'll see you guys next time.
Yep. All right, bye.